Hello and welcome to Woodbridge, the best town around. My name is John McCormick. I'm the mayor of this great town, and we are here tonight to present a proclamation in honor of National Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And this is something that came to us from Jules Hildebrand, who I know we've done something with before, and I don't remember all the details, but I'll ask her to explain it. We're going to present a proclamation, and I have a whole bunch of volunteers that are going to help me read the proclamation. So let me start with Jules' sister. This is, you're going to read the very first, hold that, come on over here in front. You're going to read the very first paragraph, whereas. Read that there.
Whereas Childhood Cancer Awareness Month is symbolized by a gold ribbon worn to
commemorate
the
That's a big
event.
word, isn't it?
Commemorate the event and raise support, funding, and awareness of childhood cancers and the impact of sufferers and families of sufferers of childhood cancer and
okay, now you go to the end of the line. What was your name, by the way? Lauren Hildebrand? Okay, you come up next. You hold this, and what's your name?
My name is Bryn.
Okay, so you start with here and finish there.
Okay. Whereas childhood cancer is devastating to the growth and development of children and school play and socializing.
Oh, you missed a pen right there. Go back there.
Is devastating to their families and friends. At a time when children should be focusing on school, play, and socializing. If they have cancer, their focus is on medication, operations, and what life they have left.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, next up. What is your name?
Avery.
Okay, hold this. And you're going to start right there with each day, and you're going to finish at the word and.
Whereas each day more than 46 children throughout the United States will be diagnosed with cancer at an average age of 6 years old, and as a result, 1 out of 5 children so diagnosed will not survive the disease.
Great. All right, and now you're next. What's your name?
My name's Emma.
Emma. Okay, Emma, you come on up here, stand right there, hold that, and you start with that word there, whereas pediatric, and finish with the and. Good. Pediatric.
Pediatric cancer is the leading cause of death by disease in children under 15 years old of age,
yeah.
With the causes the most pediatric cancers largely unknown and not linked to lifestyle, unlike adult cancers. And
you know what that means? That means is that adult cancers sometimes get it because of things they do, but kids are so young they haven't done enough yet to realize why they got the cancer to begin with. Like adults smoke, right? Or they drink, or they do dangerous things, or they do other behaviors. That's what that means. Your kids, you're too young to do all those things. So when you guys get cancer, no one knows what it's about or why you got it. So that's what that means. Okay, last up and the longest one. What's your name?
Zoe.
Zoe. Come on over here, Zoe. And you're going to start right there, less than 5%. Whereas?
Less than 5% of the federal government's total funding for cancer research is dedicated to childhood cancer, and only about 3% of funds raised for the National Cancer Institute go directly to pediatric cancer research. Right. And despite major advances in treatment, it remains important to continue to conduct research and to
increase awareness regarding pediatric cancer. All right, so you know what that means is that the government doesn't give the money out in the same percentages it should. If you looked at everybody and said they have 5% of the cancer, they should get 5% of the money. Mm-hmm. The kids have more of a percentage of cancer than they get of the money. So this is saying that's not really fair. Okay, now, Jules, can she read?
Yeah.
All right, come on up. This is Jules Hildebrand. This is the important part because this is where you get to make believe you're me. Because this is where I say I, John E. McCormick. So this is a serious one. Are you ready for it? Okay, you hold that. I'm going to have to help you. So start right there with now therefore.
Now, therefore, a John E.
You don't know that name? How can you not know my name? I'm insulted. What's my name? What's my last name?
McCormick.
Right. Now, therefore, I, John E. McCormick, keep going.
Mayor of the Township of Woodbridge in the country of
Middlesex,
in the state of New Jersey,
and in concert,
with Woodbridge Township Council to do hero officially
recognize
the month of September in year 2021 to be National Childhood Cancer Awards Month.
Awareness Month. Terrific. You did it. Good job. So now you might not remember. You might have been too young, but we did something in the past, and I just don't remember what it was. You want to help me out here? What is it we did with her before? I remember her.
So Julie got to raise it 3 years ago when she was only discharged for less than a month, and she was really sick and couldn't even have the strength to raise the flag herself. Lauren had to do it, but now look at her now, 3 years later, strong and healthy.
All right. How do you feel?
Great.
And how's school going?
Good.
How come it's not going great?
Great.
All right. What grade are you in?
Second.
Where do you go to school?
Lindcrest School.
Okay. How do you like your principal there?
Good.
How's your teacher?
Good.
What's your favorite subject?
Art.
Okay, good. What do you want to be when you grow up?
A vet.
A vet? Why?
Because I loved animals.
Really? Do you have animals home?
No.
No? Then how do you know you love them?
But I have a lot of stuffed animal ones.
Oh.
A lot.
Well, the good thing about stuffed animals is they don't need much care. You just got to play with them and pet them a little bit. They don't really need to go to the vet. They don't need operations. They don't need to be fed.
And they're fluffy.
And they're fluffy and they're soft and they're hairy.
Yeah, but they're not like real dogs.
They're not like real dogs. I get it. All right. Well, what do you want to say to your mom and dad and your sister here who came out to support you for this event and all your friends here? What do you want to say to them?
Thank you for coming to support me.
All right. Well, how about that? Let's hear it. And you can read Mom's Facebook page, Rachel Hildebrand. What does that say there? Is that got? It says they are so excited you can read Mom's Facebook page, Rachel. You'll fall in love with this little one.
Oh, I wrote that.
Oh, you wrote that. All right.
Sorry, Deb.
All right. Well, since Debbie was the one that asked us to do this event, come on up, Deb. Why don't you say a few words? Obviously, you have a relationship with the family. Other way. That's almost bigger than you. Deb, say a few words about this whole thing. It's really cool.
So I met the Hildebrand family 3 years ago when Jules was first diagnosed, and someone had reached out to me and asked for our support, and we came together and we did a spaghetti dinner, and we made lots of spaghetti, and all her friends came, and the whole community came out and supported them, and we have grown to just love this little one, and we spent some time with her during the holidays, and she is just beautiful, right? And you're in second grade now. But it's important to remember this every year. Childhood cancer affects a lot of people, and it's important that the month of September that we celebrate and we honor these little warriors. And we're so glad that you're doing well. So that's it.
Great, thanks. You guys want to say anything?
Sure.
Good. Oh, you got a speech? Go ahead.
I got a speech ready.
Go right in the middle, right in the middle.
Okay. Some of this was repeated, but it's worth repeating again. At the Township Council meeting in September 2018, Julie raised the flag right here in honor of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. This was less than 1 month after she was discharged from the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia after bravely fighting through multiple surgeries, 6 rounds of intense chemotherapy, 3 stem cell transplants, and dozens of blood transfusions, all while being away from her family and friends for over 9 months. We are happy to share that in the 3 years since she last raised the flag, Julie is now a healthy and happy 7-year-old who is here once again to raise the flag. As mentioned before, over 15,000 children are diagnosed with some form of childhood cancer in the U.S. each year. Upwards of 80% of these children will survive their life-threatening illness, but 95% of them will have significant health issues by the age of 45 due to the intense treatment they received to save their life. Julie is one of those survivors, thanks to the decades of research and past trials that have increased the overall survival rates of childhood cancer tremendously. The research, clinical trials, and treatment are incredibly expensive, but you can't put a price on the life of a child. When Julie was discharged from the hospital, the only smile bigger than mine, my wife's, and our daughter Lauren's was Julie's smile. She was so happy to be home, and we were so relieved to have her home. Unfortunately, each year, the parents of almost 2,000 children have to leave the hospital and return home without their child. Work still needs to be done to find a cure for all forms of childhood cancer. Of the approximately $6 billion spent annually by the U.S. government on cancer research, only about 4% goes to childhood research. The brave kids fighting the battle of their lives deserve more, and that is what Childhood Cancer Awareness Month is all about. With increased awareness, we hope that more funding will be provided to find a cure for this terrible disease. We are grateful for the continued support we have received from our local community and the support we have received from our school community, and we appreciate the opportunity to raise awareness for such a worthy cause. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Jules, I'm going to ask you one question. Your dad just read something. He said a word several times that is the most important word he said that you have from your friends and from your family and from your schoolmates and your Girl Scout troop and the town. What's the word you have that you really need to get through this? Begins with an S.
Survive.
Ooh, good guess. No, S-U-P.
Support.
Support. That's the one. Now, let me introduce some of the people, which I didn't do yet, which I always do. Councilwoman at Large Lisbeth De Jesus, current Council Vice President, 2nd Ward Councilman Howie Barrow. We all know Debbie Meehan, 5th Ward Councilwoman. Viru Patel, 4th Ward Councilman. Greg Ficara, Councilman at Large, and Kyle Anderson, Councilman at Large. You guys will learn that in 4th grade civics, but they're the town council, they're the legislative branch, right? Lee is shaking her head there. I'm the executive branch, and there's something called the judicial branch, but we don't have time for all that now. We have to take pictures. So I want Jules right in the middle holding the proclamation. We're all going to get out of the way, and we're going to take a picture just of the girls, and then we're going to take a picture, we're going to join. So make sure, what's that? Oh, Craig Coughlin, our assemblyman in the 19th district's in the house. Let's meet the Girl Scouts of Troop 83340.
Victoria. Lizzie. Rihanna. Carissa. Kaylee.
You're not a Girl Scout.
Ariana. Sophia. She's not a Girl Scout. Chloe. Girl Scout. Bryn. Avery. Kaylee. Lauren. Emma. Zoe.
Zoe, okay, we got everybody? And of course, the star of the show, turn around, Jules. The star of the show, Julie Heldenbrand. Hold right here, okay? Hold it. You're up. Just hold it tight. Hold 2 hands. All right, now when I say go, pull it down slowly.
This is what's gonna happen
Ready?
when you're on patrol.
Start going. Start pulling it down. Now put your hand up and pull more. Put the bottom hand up now and pull. Now pull that hand. That's the way. Keep going. Keep going.
Go, Julie!
Go, Julie!
Good job, Julie.
The Star Ledger published a notice on December 18, 2020. Copy of the schedule is posted on the municipal bulletin board. It should be so noted in the minutes of this meeting. Councilman Spiller. Councilman Ficara. Here. Councilwoman Meehan. Here. Councilwoman Drum. Councilman Patel. Yeah. Councilman Anderson. Here. Councilwoman De Jesus. Here. Vice President Bauer. Here. And President Small. Here. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from August 31st, 2021?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Beginning with the second reading ordinances this evening that's listed in front of you, we'll start with letter A, which is the second reading on ordinance establishing salary ranges for employees of the township of Woodbridge. Can I get a motion that the ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letter A listed only.
Good evening, Tom Harris, Newark, New Jersey. Again, the ordinance doesn't really give a lot of information. Does this affect all township employees specifically? And what would that cap be?
Mr. Maris, this is done every year with civil service titles and salaries. Basically, cleaning up every year to stay in order with the salaries and the job titles.
Are they raising the cap, or are they lowering it? Is it remaining the same from the last year? I appreciate you pointing out that it's a yearly event, but I'm curious as to whether it has been raised for this year.
Yes.
Yes,
By how much?
Mayor?
It all depends. Sometimes when the employees' raises that are contractually negotiated in civil service title jobs take them above the range, so we just have to adjust the range to cover that. So there's a wide variety of range of increases that happen.
Well, that's what my initial question was. Is it for everybody in the township? It is,
Yes.
but it varies according to what job they may hold.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments on letter A only? Here are no other comments. Can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We'll take letter B now, which is listed on the agenda, which is an ordinance revising Chapter 7 of the revised ordinances. And this is to designate handicap parking on Florida Grove Road and East 5th Avenue. Can I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letter B only. Here are no comment from the public. Can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed and this ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. We'll now take letter C listed on your agenda. An ordinance approving a rapid flashing pedestrian signal on Port Reading Avenue at Daniel Street. Can I get a motion that the public hearing be open and taken up on second and third reading, letter C?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Letter C is now open to the public. Any comment from the public on letter C? There are no comment from the public. Can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We'll take letters D, E, and F that are listed as first reading ordinances. Can I get a motion that these ordinances be passed on first reading, published in the Home News Tribune this Friday, which is September 17, 2021. Notice of public hearing to be held on October 5th, 2021 at 6 p.m.
Motion. Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Can I get a motion to approve resolutions, which will be numbers 1 through 24, inclusive, 1 through 24?
Motion. Second.
Mr. Mitch?
Yes, sir.
I have a few comments. Number 7, the resolution waiving construction fee permits associated with any tropical storm. Ida, related to causes by flooding on Wednesday the 1st of September through Thursday the 2nd of September. I want to thank the mayor, my fellow council mates, and the administration for realizing that a lot of people suffered a lot of damage, and it's going to be crucial for them to get electric, plumbing, and whatnot, and not have to go pay the permit fees. So I thank you for recognizing that. It's greatly appreciated. Number 20, I'm going to abstain. And number 22, a resolution authorizing the donation of police vehicles, no needed for public service in Woodbridge Township to North Brunswick. North Brunswick Police Department lost 38 vehicles in the flood from Ida. We're donating 3. I appreciate, again, the administration, Director Hubner, for making this donation. These cars would have been going to auction and no longer used in our fleet. That's all I have. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Mr. Mitch.
Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to thank the council from last council meeting. I missed the opportunity to thank the council for a resolution approving the appointment of Ms. Kiana Davis to the library board. She's a local author and teacher, and I thought that she was an excellent choice, a very logical choice for the library board. And also there was a donation made to the Woodbridge Broncos after they had the spring season after canceling their fall season due to COVID, and they needed the money for refurbishing their equipment for this fall. So thank you very much to the council for that. Thank you.
Any other comments on the resolutions?
Council President, I'm going to abstain from Resolution 6, please. Thank you.
Mr. Mitch, I'm sorry, I have to abstain from number 20, please.
I got you. Thank you. You don't want to say no? Any other comments? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, Mr. President.
Thank you. We'll now go to our public comment session. Please state your name, your residence, address, and you have a 5-minute period to speak. Sir?
Hi, guys. My name's Scott Skocipic. I live at 49 Freddie Avenue in Ideal. It's the mobile home park. I'm a 49-year-old single father. I work 70 hours a week. I'm a short order cook. My daughter is 16. I've been there 10 years. We got killed, honestly, killed. And, you know, I don't want to sit here and, you know, people had it worse than me. People in Manville and Somerville and whatever, but I still don't have hot water. The trailer park was recently sold to Lakeshore Management, and it's actually horrible. And Mr. McCormick over there, honestly, sir, I think you're awesome, but it's literally horrible. At least Maria, who used to own the trailer park, looked at us as even if she didn't like you, she looked at you as people. Whether she had a problem with you or whatever, you were people. This new company looks at you as this. How do I tell my 16-year-old she can't take a shower? You know, I had an electrician. I spent $110 again today, actually. And I have the pictures. I had an electrician that said, it's not my problem with the hot water heater. It's between the trailer and the home. And you ask Lakeshore and they say, well, I actually got into an argument, which Andy right here, over here with the white hair, will attest to you on last Friday. The owners of the trailer parks walking around, he looks at us and he goes, what are you guys looking at? And I went like this, and he goes, well, it's not my problem. I said, dude, how is this not your problem? I don't make a lot of money. I take care of my daughter. That's my pride. That's what I do. She can't take a shower. I don't have hot water. I'm doing like the whole prison shower in the bathroom, going like this. Like, that's not right. I've been here a long time. You know, it's not right. We're actually getting treated like second-class citizens, maybe because we live in a trailer park, but it's not right. We might not pay taxes, but we still pay lot fees. We still pay rent fees. We're the same as if somebody lives in Barron's Gate or somebody lives here or somebody lives there. I take pride in being not an absentee father. My daughter's the world to me, and I will shovel crap, not to, if it means taking care of her. Because I live in a trailer, I don't think I have to be put aside. While these people, the new owners, walk around like, you know, they get in their Lexuses that's leased to them and whatever, and I'm sitting here busting my butt 70 hours a week to cook pork roll, egg, and cheese every day, and you know, it's just not right. You know, we're sitting over there, and half of us are still, we don't have water, we have nothing. I don't even have a garbage can. My garbage can went away. I lost a $4,000 drum set from my shed that just disappeared in the flood, and nobody's helping us. It's absolutely horrible. Like, my eyes are red and stuff because I've been crying for a week. And I'm this big, brave, tattooed, pierced guy. It sucks. To be honest with you guys, it's horrible. I would love to just redo life and have everything everybody else has. But unfortunately, I got divorced. But I take pride in my daughter. She's 16, she's a straight A student. She's going to college next year. I'm happy. But I can't do this every day. I've been crying nonstop, and we get no help. It was like getting the electrician to come over today and say, you know what, Scott? I got electric, which is great. I could watch cable, whatever, but it doesn't, I have no hot water because Ideal won't do anything about it at all. They tell me it's not my problem. How is it not my problem? If I'm paying you $700 a month, whether it's a trailer or a car or a condo or something across here from Quick Check, it doesn't matter. I'm still paying you my hard-earned money. Like, there's a woman up front here, Michelle, right here, with the blonde hair. She hasn't been in her house since it happened because nobody's coming over to tell her anything. So she's paying all this money for nothing. And when you call Ideal, they say, well, if you don't pay our rent, we're going to evict you. Who does that to somebody? My parents been there 20-something years. My parents passed away. My father got sent to a nursing home. I took the trailer over, but I take pride in it. I spent $5,000 in April to get my trailer redone. The outside, the skirting, it's all gone. Now, I can't even take a shower. It makes no sense to me. That's all I wanted to say. I hope somebody can actually maybe go over there and talk to Lakeshore Management and do something because honestly, you look like a tough guy, this, that, whatever.
Sir?
But I'm done. I'm sorry. Okay.
That's all right. Don't be sorry.
All right.
Don't be
Thank
sorry.
you, guys. I appreciate everybody listening to me. I'm
Mayor?
sorry.
Sir, you're absolutely right in that you should be treated the same as anybody else, regardless of where you live. You're still a tax-paying resident of Woodbridge Township. We have been down there a lot talking with people about FEMA, which we have some control over. There's not much control we have over the behavior of the owner of the land, but you brought up a couple points that might mean that our health department can potentially take some action if you don't have some of the basic amenities that you need. So I'll catch you on the way out, get your number. I know I haven't talked to North Shore. I've been down there several times. I've not run into them. So I personally haven't talked to them, but I know some of our people have. So let me get your number and I'll report back to you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. My name is Andrew Ariema. I live right down the road from Mr. Skocipic. The main problem we have is the Woodbridge River has to be redredged. It hasn't been done since Hurricane Sandy. With all the building you're doing around here, all of this silt and everything is going into that little river. I have a next door neighbor that has 3 inches of water on her property that hasn't gone down in 8 months. She can't even cut her grass because the water table is rising. We have a pond in front of our house from when they did the gas lines 3 years ago that the water's coming right up through the street. Now until the city, which we have called numerous times, and they said, we're gonna redredge, and then we were told, well, it's not in the budget, we can't afford it. Now, I don't know what city can't afford to help their own patrons that are paying all of this money. But I had 4 people from the city down there, and the one man looked at me when I talked about flooding like I had 5 eyes. I grew up in Bound Brook and Manville. I know what flooding is. I've been taken out of a 2nd-story building in a canoe. And for this man to stand there and tell me I don't know what flooding is, I thought was the biggest insult in my life. Especially when another gentleman looked at him and said, no, he's absolutely right, because he grew up in Middlesex. But this river has to be redredged and it has to be widened. It's only, at the narrowest point, 10 feet wide behind the trailer park. Now you have all of this water coming down from Broadway Avenue, right through the trailer park, and this is what happened with this storm. It came right on through, 10 inches of rain at one time, and just wiped everything out. Until they dredge that river and widen that river, I know it's going to cost money, but it's got to be done. If not, let us know when it's going to be done so we can plan on either moving or doing something. But this has to be done, and it's a city problem. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Are there any other comments this evening?
Ed McGuinn, Woodbridge Township. I've been in emergency services I retired after 30 years. I would like to know when the people in the trailer park over in Ideal Trailer Park in Avenel got evacuated by the fire department and they were taken to the rec center, who was in charge up there?
Who's in charge of the rec center?
Of the rec center itself?
Whoever was doing the evac things and giving them beds and feeding them.
Emergency management was involved, the community
All right, well,
emergency response team
management's got
was
a
involved.
problem. The next day, I talked to a number of these people. I just found this out today. That hurricane, I just found this out today, and that's why I came here. A number of those people said that the next day, they were forced out of the rec center and told to return to their homes. There was still 4 feet of water in those trailer parks. My mother couldn't get back to her trailer because of that thing. She had to go between 2 trailers in order to try to get back there, walking through 3 feet of water. Now, the problem is, she got her leg banged up. I mean, really messed up. I'm going to give this to you, Brian, so you can take a look at this. I want to know what fool, what idiot allowed those people to go back to an area that was still a danger to them. And it wasn't from the tide, it was from the storm sewers that were filling up down there, because I checked the tides, I know what the tides were. She ended up with gashes on her leg because she was walking through that filthy, debris-filled water. Luckily, she didn't get any kind of infections or anything. But I kind of let it go because I was in. But I found out today from a couple other residents over there that they were forced to leave the rec center and go back to an area which was still flooded. And I want to know, I want you folks to look into this. What fool didn't have enough sense to call on the radio from the rec center to somebody that was down there and say, hey, what's the situation look like? That's what I would have did. You put those people in a bad situation. You can't find open manholes. I've seen manholes get popped right out of the ground from that storm water. Somebody can go right down a manhole walking in 3 feet of water. I just want somebody to check into me, maybe make aware. That was not a smart thing to do, to allow those people to go back into a dangerous situation like that.
Mr. McGuinn, this is the first that I personally am hearing of this, and we will look into it. You have my word, we will look into that.
I just found about the rest of it today because that was probably about 2 weeks ago, and all I was concerned about that thing, but when I talked to these other people and they told me the situation, because I questioned this, I said, why would they let you go back and walk into water? I thought they were just exaggerating. But they all said they were walking through at least 3 feet of water. That's all I got to say, Brian. I just wanted you to take a look at this.
Any other comments this evening?
Hi, Nancy Carney, Hawthorne Avenue in Colonia. I have a question about the Pumpkin Patch Brook project. Colonia also experienced flooding, horrendous flooding, not as bad as obviously these areas, and for a number of reasons, one of which is the brook and the lack of maintenance over the years. And as a homeowner, we had received a letter about a project that said debris and garbage would be removed, but there was going to be no infill of the banks or stabilization. And I had written a letter to a number of people here, including DEP, expressing my concerns about that because of the degree of erosion in the banks, a lot of overhanging debris, grass, shrubbery. Every time it rains, more dirt gets picked up. And they said the scope of the project was a township project. So my question is, will you at some point come back and stabilize the banks in a future project? If not, why not? And why wasn't it included now?
I think the best thing to do is have our engineer talk to you directly. He knows the issue much better than we do, but right now, we already had, before the storm was even on the radar, we had a project to clean the entire pumpkin patch behind Amherst, Beekman, Jordan, up that way. That is ongoing. And I think the results of that will then determine what the next step is. We can't go to phase 2 till we finish phase 1 and get a better handle on what might be needed to do phase 2. So if you, before you leave, give us your name and number, I'll make sure Mike Gellin reaches out to you because he can explain things much better than I can.
Sure, because as I said, I live on Hawthorne, just north of that bridge. There's been previous work where trees have been taken down going towards Inman, but nothing really behind Hawthorne. There's some old concrete along some of the sides that's broken and cracked. Much of the property along the way is all eroded. You can see dead tree limbs, trees overhanging. All of that would be future debris. You know, if you're going to spend the money to clean the debris and the sediment now, next time it floods, it's all going to be back down there again. So I'd be happy to speak with them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments this evening?
Hi, Deb McGuinn, Woodbridge Township. I'm a lifelong resident here. I've never seen it that bad. I mean, Superstorm Sandy was one thing, but this was darn close. I hadn't realized how bad it was till I was getting calls from just people and talking to people. And what happened was, what my husband was trying to say, I'll be a little more diplomatic because that's how I roll, but when I saw the leg of my mother-in-law from knee down to her toes swollen, they told her to put Neosporin. I said, you got to do more than that. She had to keep it up, ice it, whatever. And at first it didn't look that bad because it's under the surface, but what they made her do was walk through waist high, she said, through there. I go, you sure you're accurate about that? Because people embellish a bit. And I found out from the other people too, that what happened was they were walking through at least 3 foot of water. Now, if the woman had fallen and hit her head, she could have drowned. Let alone what looked, my husband will show you the picture, we were able to print it out. That doesn't even do it justice. And what happened, I mean, she's lucky she didn't get a blood clot, an infection. The doctor's monitoring it and everything. She was on blood thinners, so that kind of helped, not to give out any personal information, but just so you know where we're standing. But I was appalled, and I said, what made you go through there? Because of the first person I'll blame is maybe the victim in case they overlooked. They said no. They were brought back and just told to go home. And the water was still there. It wasn't like the tide rolled out. You know, usually it goes down. I said, you sure it wasn't ankle deep or something? No. She was washing her clothes right away, whatever she could. Even they had I said, be careful about the gas. We're always trying to prep them for these different things. We never even got a call. I was so appalled. So I'm just saying, check into whoever oversaw this, because whatever good the emergency personnel did, this negated the whole thing. Somebody dropped the ball on that end. And this isn't the first time this is going to happen. Has happened in the past, and God forbid it happens in the future. We know we're going to get rain problems and stuff like that. I went to Manville. I surveyed the damage there. That was disgusting. Even as you stood on the grass on the high ground, and I'm telling you, it was just a trickle of a river well below, because my husband walked to the back portion, and we're up here on the main street, and the water came all the way up. These people are on pretty much the same level. I'm surprised they didn't lose a lot of their trailers. It just concerns me. So please, do the best you can do to look into it. I'd appreciate it. I'm not asking for a personal favor, just for everyone's sake, okay? Let's work together. Thanks. If there's any other information you need from me, let me know. You know where I'm at. All right,
Thank
thanks.
you. Any other comments this evening?
Sir, if you want to speak, just go in the back. You can go next.
I'll sit right here. I'm disabled. Okay?
Yes.
I'm Michelle Panilla, 3 Christina Drive in the Ideal Mobile Home, the park. And I just wanted to add that for me personally, been there 7 years, and even though I have a pretty good spot from what I understand, I still got so much water every rain. So it's not just Ida, which was, you know, catastrophic for a lot of people. A regular rainstorm will completely go up and go over my curb and etc. And I'll walk through higher than ankle water to get from my car to the sidewalk. And that's not unusual for me. And that's, like I said, beyond Ida. Plus, yes, I had to walk through the back, and I don't know the park well enough to describe it, but when you drive in the far right corner, the far back corner, I walked through there with boots knee high, and I got mud right up to my kneecaps because I was trying to retrieve my garbage and recycling cans. And it was miserable, just horrible. So I don't know all the circumstances, but I do know that we need some help with the water condition, the ground, that kind of thing. And if I just may add on a side note, we could also use, in this town for Avenel, sidewalks, when you go down Broadway Avenue, make a right, where those new developments are going towards Blair Road, they need sidewalks for these kids because they're all walking in the street. And it gets really dangerous, especially in wintertime when it's 5 o'clock at night and it's dark. So that's just something to put on the table later on. Thanks.
We'll look into it, thank you. Sir?
Sorry.
That's okay.
I feel like Forrest Gump. You can stay.
Stay right there, sir.
Stay there.
Sir?
Stay there.
Sir? All right.
I really don't even need a microphone. All right, I'm going to talk on behalf of Avenel.
Sir, just your name?
My name is Steve Alec.
Thank you.
I've lived in Avenel Trailer Park for over 20 years, 22 years. I watch it flood in the back constantly. And you know what? They do nothing to lower the rent any person that lives back there. They still raise, this year got a 5% raise in the rent. For what? They don't give them a boat. There's no way they can get out of there. The water's this deep. I went back with waders on, and the water was this deep back there. People couldn't get their kids out. That's how bad it was. And you know what? They do nothing for senior citizens. Every senior that lives there is no break at all. You know what? I'm a disabled veteran. I'm on a fixed income. My rent is higher than what I get annually from the VA. I get 1.2% from the VA. They raise me 5% every year. And they're doing it to every other senior that lives there. You know what? This is to the point, you know what? When Ideal had it, it was great. Marie would work with you. Marie would say, okay, fine. You don't have the money? We'll work with you. We'll do something. Right now, all of us that live there, does anybody really care? Do they do anything for any of us at all? No. Nothing, right? Tell the truth. Less. They do less. And you know what? Something has to be done. I'm figuring somewhere along the line, they're going to sell and make it condos. No. That's what they're going to do. And we're all going to get screwed in the long run here. But you know what? My daughter lives down in the back. The water was this deep over her floor. Over her floor. She's got flood insurance, but that was the third time it happened. Flood insurance don't want to pay. The third time. Raise the trailer. Who's going to pay to raise it? You're going to pay. You're going to pay. Am I going to pay? No. They want to raise, somebody's got to pay to raise it. Not the people that live there, either that or dredge the goddamn creek in the back. It's so bad, the way that water comes up. I mean, I could have went fishing in my daughter's parking lot in the back. The fish were swimming right at my feet. I was like, what is this? You know, something has to be done somewhere along the line. Anybody here going to do anything about it?
We're going to do something about it, sir.
What?
I don't have an answer for you. It's going to go through the engineers and through the administration, but...
You know what it's like? Down here when I was a kid, this used to flood over here on Main Street. I mean, and they dredged this all out, they did everything nice, so the water all flowed. But they're doing nothing back there at all. The swamp weeds are this high, the water flow is this high. There's nowhere for the water to go. Then when the tide comes in, it floods. So something has to definitely be done. And you know what? I get a rent increase every year. I'm disabled. I don't match that rent increase. And now, everybody that lives here knows the difference in that rent increase, because we never had that before. When Maria was there, and the rest of the Ideal community was there, they all would say, you know what? How much money you got coming in? How much money you going out? They would work with you. Here, you know what? Bingo, 5% across the board, and you don't like it, you know what they tell you? Take your trailer and move out. That's what it comes down to. And if that's the way it's going to be, you know what? We're going to fight them back. It's going to be a nightmare because we will fight them back. Thank you. I'm sorry to bother you guys.
No bother.
Any other comments this evening?
So all I could say is that I don't know the new ownership regarding the trailer park, but I was familiar with the Zola family, and I know they had an impeccable reputation and worked with.
Is there a
I know.
representative here?
No.
From the trailer park? No. Lakeshore. Is that the new company?
Mr. Vitaric?
John Rotary, Woodbridge. I'm surprised there's no more people over here, because for some reason, every time we have a so-called flood or big rain, it's not just a trailer park, trailer park, I used to live in Everett. It's all over the township. We know exactly where the weak points are. We take Home Depot, we take any place, Veteran Avenue, for example. We all know over the years where the problem is. The problem is we wait until it happens and we say next time, it never happens. But again, people do have certain properties, like in state sections or something, they do have what you call overflow. They're allowed to clean the property, but they cannot enter the stream. They have to get a permit from EPA to take the debris from the property. It takes time and money, whatever you want to call it. It should never happen. I think administration from the county, state, anybody else, you people should go behind them and say, listen, this is what you have to do, and we have to do it before it happens. You know when the hurricane season is coming, we know when the hurricane season, but we know exactly 90% what's going to happen. We talk about it in Colonia. It used to get flooded all the time. Poor man was coming here begging because certain stuff washed above from the stream and from the sewer. He's afraid his kids to see what's happening if it's not things you want to see. I've been here many years, and I know what these people are going through, and they complain before over and over and over. And again, certain responsibilities, the landlords, of course, certain responsibilities of people that own the trailers, and of course, it's a township to make it livable. How could you send people on an unsanitary situation, especially old people? That's very irresponsible. I mean, to get anything else, you got to come in this place over here, or in school, they want you to do this, and that. You got to by the health reason, the health code. It's so really, really unnecessary, but seems to be got money for everything else. But don't wait in the summertime and get some politician to go clog up the Woodbridge River, take the debris out. Open up and see one, and put anything, but it has to go open up so the water can run out. Of course, the more you build, the more water is going to come. It's not just a Woodbridge, it's all over, but it's all over. I don't want to take much more time, but Mr. Stone, you brought something good issue over here on the 7th resolution, waiving the construction permits. I think you should not have construction permits. Do you mean, I know a lot of people lost the water heaters, the furnaces, anything else besides the construction, I know, but if you've got electrical,
Mr. Vitara, it's all included. That's all included.
All included. I think
hot water heaters, everything you just brought up.
Because it's all over the town. I mean, if you look at it, people that in my neighborhood never get flooded, but they're the furniture's out because the basements got flooded for some reason. So somehow the sewers are not clean or drains are not clean, whatever it is. But this is a very good idea that any kind of a thing that people, I went to Home Depot, I can go one to Vanell, I went to one in the Pertamboy. There was no water pumps, and there was no hot water tanks. There was nothing like that because people bought them out because so much they lost it. But again, come on, let's do it. If you want to build a town, you know, it's embarrassing. The people like that for all those years they come here, they live in this town, and they gotta beg. They gotta beg, and yet you beg the rules for everybody else to get things done. You know what has to be done? Do it before it happens. We know what happened years ago back when Exxon had the disaster. We're supposed to clean up that water river, the Woodbridge River. Army Corps engineers were here. They're supposed to do their job. It worked for a while, all of a sudden it doesn't work. Why? Something happened because it's clogged up again. So it might take more time, but it's embarrassing for the town with people like them. They're not kids, they're not complainers. Most of the people I never saw here before. But let's do it. We can do it. You can do it. And get after Army Corps engineer, get after the EPA, get anybody else. Let us do our thing instead of asking you. Every person goes there, well, I can clean my own property because if I take the truck into the river stream, How about if it leaks the hydraulic oil? So you can put a machine to clean up the stream, because if it leaks the hydraulic, it's emergency. And if you don't solve the problem, there'll be no solution to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments this evening?
I'm sorry I'm out of order, but I'm leaving, because you know what? There's no representative here at all from Ideal Mobile Home, because they really don't give a damn about us. We will drown in our fluids if we like. It's your choice, do what you want. I'm done.
Hi, my name is John Masculin, and I live in Port Reading, and I represent Port Reading Avenel people because I'm running for Woodbridge Councilman. And after the storms, I decided to take a ride around Avenel and Port Reading to see what's going on. And unfortunately, a lot of these people that live in these trailer homes, some of the biggest environmental concerns are E. coli, fecal matter, and petroleum products that are getting onto their properties. And I tried reaching out to the third ward councilman, Corey Spiller, but he never returned any of my calls. And that shows poor leadership as a third ward councilman in Avenel and Port Reading, and that's why I'm running, to replace people who don't care about people in Avenel and in Port Reading. And I'd like to, extend my sorrows to all the people who are going through what they're going through now in these areas. And if I can help in any way, feel free to let me know, because fortunately we lack leadership in that area. And hopefully I can make a change for you to make it better for everyone. Have a good evening, everybody.
Are there any other comments this evening from the public? There are no other comments.
Sorry for the delay. Tom Maris, Forge, New Jersey. My heart goes out to these people. I've lived in Texas and we had 42 inches of rain in a day, so I know what it's like to be flooded. And this is happening in this town for the third time in, 12 years? It's reprehensible. Things should be better managed than this. And as far as your complaint with the rent is concerned, Mr. Coughlin, who's also running again for Assembly seat this year, is the head of the Assembly, but he's also the lawyer who I believe sits on the Rent Control Commission in Woodbridge. You might want to reach out to him as well as the mayor and see what they can do. I would also suggest the council maybe looks into ordinances that they can pass, they pass many, that might be able to pull these types of landlords in so they don't become slumlords and they really do have to take care of the people. I think you can do that. And I hope your lawyers look into it and tell you what you can or cannot do, because it's long overdue. This is the third time that I've heard people come this severe, and that's reprehensible. Excuse me, I also wanted to speak to two other things. I had two questions that were unanswered from the last meeting. And one was how and when will the energy aggregate program be implemented? The second question is when will the new budget be introduced? In addition to that, I'd also like to know if any member of the McCormick administration has been contacted by any federal or state authority in regard to relocating illegal aliens and or Afghan refugees to Woodbridge Township area. If so, what was said? And those are questions I'm going to leave for a moment. Hope you'll have enough time to answer them, because I also want to bring in something too. This past weekend, we memorialized and celebrated 9/11. And I'm wearing this shirt today because there's a gentleman who sits here who does not stand for this flag, yet he feels perfectly well to come here and badmouth this commission, this town, this council, and embarrass our police department with all kinds of wild accusations. But on that day, on 9/11, we lost 343 firefighters, 37 police officers. I can guarantee you, not one of those people ever took their knee, and I guarantee you that they stood for the flag every time the Pledge of Allegiance was being said. And those are the ones that put their lives on the line. For people that love this country, as well as the people like him who don't. So you can take his communist propaganda and put it where the sun doesn't shine. And with that, I'll just simply say that when it comes to the blue, I really went and looked for a few things. I'm rather emotional about this because my brother's a police officer. He's a disabled vet from Vietnam. He's also still actively a volunteer fireman at his age. But the term, the thin blue line, is a term that typically refers to the concept of police as the line which keeps society in descent from descending into violent chaos. The blue in the blue, thin blue line refers to the blue color of the uniforms many police departments wear. And that is so true. And that's one of the reasons I'm wearing this today, and that's the back of it. Because I totally support the thin blue line and what it represents. And the fact that somebody wants to bastardize it and use it for some op-ed to say that it's against the blacks is absolute pure BS. I want to salute our police department and all of our firefighters, and thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public this evening?
Good evening, James Dabrowski, Woodbridge proper. My heart goes out to the flood victim as well. I moved into my home August 2012 with my 5-month-old newborn son and my wife right before Sandy hit and our basement was destroyed. I'm surprised we were able to keep our home. I don't know how we avoided this one. My parents weren't so lucky. My parents live on Burnett Street, directly across from the ideal trailer home. So I appreciate the council, mayor saying they will handle this more than just thoughts and prayers, but action. Action is what we need. Thoughts and prayers don't do nothing to help these people. It's action that we need, and preventative action as well. Not just response, but prevention so it doesn't keep on happening. So commend everybody who spoke about that. As far as Mr. Maris' comments, I mean, if a guy like Tom Maris is against you, you gotta say, I gotta feel I'm on the right side of an issue if Tom Maris is on the other side. You just got to scroll through his Facebook page and it's the most disgustingly bigoted things you could imagine. Racist, xenophobic, ableist, Islamophobic. It's absolutely despicable. So when a guy like Tom comes at you, you know you're on the right side of an issue when we're talking about racial justice. So I look at that as a compliment when a guy like that attacks me. How much time do I have? Since October 2007, you know, Woodbridge has officially held the controversial annual Columbus Day observance and flag raising ceremony. Last year was the 14th annual celebration, which was attended by dignitaries such as Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin, who had to run, I guess, Senator Joe Vitale, Congressman Frank Pallone. But towards the end of the ceremony, because this is on YouTube, a representative from the Knights of Columbus came up to the podium to accept a proclamation presented by Mayor John McCormick on behalf of Woodbridge Township. This representative then remarked, "I just want to say everybody's aware of all the controversy going on about Columbus. 100 years ago, this would have never been an issue." I hope everyone takes a moment to really absorb the tellingness of that statement and just how much it proves the need for change. I mean, could you imagine a progressive pride flag officially being raised in Woodbridge 100 years ago? Or Juneteenth officially being celebrated here 100 years ago? We only just began to recognize these two inclusive events in Woodbridge for the very first time this past June of 2021. And as Woodbridge begins to deepen our commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion, and anti-racism, something Tom Maris has been attacking at our Board of Education meetings, we can be sure that we'll have many more such important and inspiring firsts to look forward to as a community. Speaking of which, on the Smithsonian website for the National Museum of the American Indian, there's a page titled Unlearning Columbus Day Myths, Celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day. I don't think I'll have time to read the entire page, but towards the end, it talks about, obviously, myths of Columbus Day and what really he was about. And at the end it says, we encourage students to advocate for Indigenous Peoples Day as a replacement for Columbus Day in their school, city, state, and beyond. And a rapidly growing number of states, municipalities have been doing so. And I'm hoping in the spirit of raising the progressive pride flag, celebrating Juneteenth, this will be our next step for Woodbridge Township to get on the right side of history and do something meaningful like this. So I noticed on the township website that there is not a 15th annual I'm sorry, where am I? There is not a 15th annual Columbus Day observance and flag raising ceremony scheduled on the October calendar. Is this correct? And if so, will the township please consider, once again, getting on the right side of history and observing Indigenous Peoples Day for the first time in Woodbridge?
Mayor?
We are having Italian Heritage Day on the second Sunday in October at 10 o'clock here.
Second Sunday of October is Italian Heritage Day?
Yes.
And will there be a proclamation presented to the Knights of Columbus?
I don't know. We didn't plan the agenda yet.
And will there be somebody dressed as Columbus and Queen Isabella?
I don't know. We didn't
past?
plan it yet.
Will you consider an Indigenous Peoples Day?
We have Italian American Heritage Day on the second Sunday of September.
That's great.
Of October.
I'm 20% Italian. That's great. But will we have an Indigenous Peoples Day?
We do not have any plans right now to do that.
Will we consider that? Will we look into
We
that?
do not have any plans right now to do that.
We don't. But I'm asking you, will you consider looking into?
I know what you're asking me, and I'm not answering you. We have no plans to do that.
Why not?
If we decide to do it, you'll know because it'll be on our calendar.
That's how it happens. Community advocacy is not how this works. It's just Mayor McCormick decides, and that's it.
No.
Who decides then?
Mr. Dabrowski, we have Italian American Heritage Day. We have not scheduled any other day that you described. When we do, you'll find out about it.
Well, I drafted a resolution to help expedite
Mr.
this
Dombrowski,
inclusive endeavor,
time is up.
and I'll email it to you, and I hope you'll take a look at it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Are there
Justice
any
for
other
Nigeria
comments?
Parks, Justice for Jeremiah Daniels
Any
Porter,
other comments this
Black
evening?
Lives Matter,
Your
Stop the
time is
KP
up,
Power
Mr.
Plant.
Dombrowski.
Good evening, members of the council. Charles Cradaville. You know me as the Central Jersey organizer for Food and Water Watch, and I'm also the editor of New Brunswick Today, a community newspaper available online at newbrunswicktoday.com. And I want to, share my deepest sympathies with everybody who's going through this difficult time all over Middlesex County and New Jersey. But it seems that Woodbridge is not immune from the consequences of climate change. We learned lessons from Hurricane Sandy, and unfortunately, we didn't make enough changes to stop this problem from getting worse. And so we're seeing now extreme weather events like storms that bring flash flooding to communities, tornadoes, hurricanes. We're seeing more extreme amounts of precipitation coming at different times of the year. It's affecting ecosystems, wildlife, and of course, human life. And the world's leading scientists are telling us that we need to get off of fossil fuels, stop polluting our air and water, and transition to renewable energy. So, credit where credit's due. Citizens brought an initiative ordinance to this council. You passed it. It's the law now in Woodbridge Township, and that's a great first step to transitioning to 100% renewables. But as you know, there are plans afoot for another dirty gas power plant in the Caseby section of Woodbridge, which would exacerbate the same problems that we're talking about here. Extreme weather, flooding, pollution, and ultimately, it makes it harder to breathe. It literally makes it harder to breathe. It makes people more vulnerable to respiratory illnesses like asthma, like COVID-19. And we already have multiple gas-fired power plants in Woodbridge, including one that's right next to the one that they're proposing. I've brought this up many times at these meetings and other meetings, and I'm reiterating the call. Now more than ever, we need change. We need change that's going to avert the consequences of the climate crisis. And I know, brought this up, the mayor's responded at times and was concerned about a response he gave to some of my remarks at a prior meeting. He said he's not an environmentalist. And I was taken aback by that, considering he received an award for being Environmentalist of the Year one year. And I'd like to ask what led him to make that statement that he's not an environmentalist, and is that something that, is his mind open or closed to the possibility that climate change is causing these problems? I'm very concerned if the mayor of a town that's seeing flooding and extreme weather doesn't consider himself an environmentalist. Through you, Mr. Chair, could he address that concern?
I do not believe I said I'm not an environmentalist. If I did, I said it wrong. I am not an environmental expert. That's what I think I said. I don't think I said I'm not an environmentalist. As to my personal opinions, they'll stay within me. I don't have to share my personal opinions on any issues with you. I'll lead the town and do the right thing for the residents of Woodbridge Township.
Thanks for responding to that. I understand people misspeak all the time, and that's okay. I'm just asking, as a resident of Middlesex County, someone who lives 6 miles away from where this proposed dirty gas power plant would be, where it would be adding literally tons of pollution into the atmosphere every day for decades to come. I'm asking this mayor and council to show the leadership we need, admit we've got a big problem on our hands, and do everything you can to stop it. Unfortunately, the record is not that. The planning board unanimously approved the plans for the power plant. This council approved a long-term tax exemption for the developer that would give them a discount on what they owe the township. And the promises that were made along with the first power plant have not been delivered. It was promised that there would be a waterfront park that people could enjoy, and that would be a big plus for the town by cleaning up toxic, contaminated land. But that hasn't happened, and this company is coming back wanting to build more pollution infrastructure. And you need to take a stand on this. I'm going to keep coming. Thank you.
Are there any other comments this evening from the public? Here, another comment, can I get it?
Yeah, I think everything else is BS or what he said. Honestly, we're here for one reason.
Sir, you can't speak. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll say. I'm sorry, but I've never been to one of these, but you know what's funny? My name's Scott Specific again.
Sir, you
What?
can't speak again.
Oh, I
You have
can't?
you have one time.
I was actually in
5-minute period.
accordance with
You
the
can't
mayor and
speak
everybody
again,
else.
Sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. I mean, I can't say one thing?
No.
We can talk after the meeting.
We're going to talk to you after the meeting. Is that all right?
I just wanted to say.
No, you can't.
Okay, that's
Please,
fine.
just.
I apologize. I'm
you're-
sorry.
Okay.
Can I get a motion that the public portion be closed?
Sir. Motion.
I got a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you. Get into the agenda part of the meeting. Number 3 on my agenda is Port Reading Day, which is going to be held on October 9th. Port Reading Firehouse at 12 noon. Second thing on my agenda is number 16. I want to thank the Recreation Department, Brian Molnar, Paul Losick, Irene, and Brienne for an incredible summer concert series. Once again, they outdid themselves. We had so many concerts, so many enjoyable concerts for our residents to see. So I want to compliment them again. Our light parade is November 27th, 6 p.m. It's going to go down Main Street. We'll get more about that when we get closer. American Irish Association, halfway to September. September 19th, Woodbridge High School, and that's from 1 to 5 p.m. And I just want to announce the grand opening of the Maple Tree Senior Center. It's 109 Avenel Street. It's going to be held from 11 a.m. to 2, ribbon cutting at 12. And I just have to, do you have the date, Mr. Mitch? Maple Tree.
I believe the 22nd?
22nd of September. I apologize. Paper got cut off. And I just, you know what, I want to say to the residents that got flooded, that this town is going to get behind you, support you in whatever way we can. The mayor, some council people have walked areas. Mr. Semaluka and the administration has walked areas, spoken to a lot of residents, and we're going to do everything we can in our power to help our residents, of course, because that's what we're here for. With that, God bless America. God bless all our first responders. And Council Vice President Bauer.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda is in order. And like I said, being an essential worker myself, I was out there at the height of the storm, and there was a lot of disaster. And like I said, the administration is behind our residents, waiving the fees for the construction fee. And like I said, we're always looking to help those in need. So reach out to us. If we don't know about it, we can help you. A special thanks to our Department of Public Works for their hard work during and after the hurricane. To our first responders, essential workers are working hard to provide safety services to our township residents during these times. Like I said, just if you have any issues, just please reach out. We're easy to find. You can email us, call us direct, and like I said, we're here for you. If we don't know about it, we can't help you. So please reach out to us. Thank you very much. That's all I have tonight, Council President.
Thank you. Councilwoman DeJesus.
Thank you, Council President. Item number 8, Hispanic Heritage. I am proud to announce that tomorrow, September 15th, will be the beginning of our month celebrating Hispanic American heritage here in the United States. Please join me in celebrating Saturday, September 18th at Tasman Park. There will be a live band, music, and food, and that event is from 12 to 3 p.m. Item number 9, the Barron Arts Center has an exhibit on display until September 26th titled African Accents, Modern Designs for Traditional Textiles. The presenter is writer, designer, and educator Lisa Shepard. Also, Woodbridge's 14th Annual Fine Arts and Crafts Festival will be October 9th from 12 to 4:30 p.m. at Alvin P. Williams Memorial Park in C. Warren. For more information, call the Barron Arts Center for these two events at 732-634-0413. Item number 10, the library, the Friends of the Library book sale will be on Friday. Will begin Friday the 24th through the 26th of September on the ground floor of the main library. A special preview will be on Thursday, September 23rd for Friend members. The Henry Inman branch was damaged during Tropical Storm Ida, and it will be closed for 2 to 4 months. Fines and fees for late returns will be waived. Please visit the other branches. And also, the main library will now be open on Sundays from 1 to 5. That is all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Meehan.
Thank you. I'm going to read Councilwoman John's first, so just bear with me. It's a little long because she's feeling better. And it's a little bit long. So first, the annual fishing derby is planned for October 2nd at Woodbridge Park. This is a free and always a fun family event. Registration is required, and you can go to the Woodbridge Recreation Facebook page for more details. The 31st Annual St. James Fair is planned for Saturday, September 18th, with a rain date for the following Saturday. This will take place in downtown Main Street. Please come out and check out all the vendors, food crafters, and support our local businesses. The Chamber of Commerce will be recognizing outstanding citizens, local businesses, and business owners who go above and beyond serving the Woodbridge metro area at its 57th Annual Chairman's Award Dinner. It is planned for October 20th at the Lake Choctaw. The following people will be honored: David Hunt, Citizen of the Year; Lisa Rosario of Excellent Virgin Care; Shumar Gudlon, Chamber Member of the Year; Michael Castro of Roosevelt Deli, Small Business Owner of the Year; Patrick Kenny of Woodbridge Township, Frank Pelsman Community Service Award; Dennis Green of our Health Department, Carol Hill of Humanity Award; Woodbridge Junior Police Academy, Business Education Partnership Champion. See the Chamber website for more information for ticket sales, or you can call 732-636-4040. And going to my agenda, I just want to thank Julie Hildebrand. Tonight we raised the flag for childhood cancer. Julie was here 3 years ago. She had a feeding tube in. She couldn't talk, and this year she raised her flag. She's in remission now, and it's just important to always bring attention to September as Childhood Awareness Month, and just in honor of these brave little warriors. Going down to my agenda, Breast Cancer Walk. This year's 6th Annual Breast Cancer Walk will take place on Saturday, October 16th. We'll leave Clooney Middle School at 11 a.m. and walk down Inman Avenue to Charlie Shaughnessy Park, where we'll be serving hamburgers and hot dogs. The cost is $15 per walker. All proceeds will be donated to a Clooney mom battling cancer. Pre-registration is not required, so grab your family and friends and join us to walk for those lost those who have won and those who continue to fight. I know we were talking a lot about the storm, and I know myself, I've been to a lot of homes in Colonia and the devastation of these families, and I've seen a lot of tears and a lot of anger and a lot of emotion. And there was one thing, and it's been really rough, but there's one thing that really the community came together in this time, and I'd just like to thank our Public Works Department under the direction of George Brew, especially our sanitation workers. These men and women worked tirelessly during Hurricane Ida and during the many days that followed after to help our residents with many issues, especially the cleanup of garbage from flooded areas. Thank you to Pat Kenny, CERT, and all our first responders who were out during the storm helping people to safety. I'd like to especially thank the Colonia Fire Department, whose calls went on throughout the night in Colonia, whether they were turning off gas, pushing cars, pumping water out of people's homes, rescuing people from their homes. Thank you for all you did. I'd also like to thank the residents that donated gift cards to give to other residents to help them buy needed supplies or simply give them a hot meal during this time. Thank you to Pastor Leslie Samuel from Avenged Church in Island, who put together a crew of workers that helped residents clean out their homes and gave them buckets of hope. And lastly, I'd like to thank Barry Maskoff, head of community outreach at the Home Depot, who graciously donated over 100 Home Depot buckets filled with cleaning supplies that were given out to residents who were affected by the storm. Once again, in our community, neighbors help neighbors, strangers help strangers, and because of each other's kindness, they were able to weather the storm together and bring out the best of each other during this difficult time. So thank you for everybody that helped, and thank you to our first responders. That's all I have.
Thank you. And, not to go unnoticed, Councilwoman Hand, thanks for all you did with collecting gift cards and helping families. We know you, that's your MO, and you've got a heart of gold, and we appreciate everything you do. Yeah. Councilman Anderson.
Thank you, Council President. Going on to my agenda, I want to acknowledge that St. Peter's Healthcare System is hiring. They will be having a job fair on September 23rd from 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. And you can register online, and walk-ins are welcome. Where will it be? It will be at 245 Easton Parkway, Easton Avenue in the parking lot, and that's the corner of Easton Avenue and Richardson Street in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Who are they hiring? They're hiring environmental services, housekeeping, facilities and engineering, food service, medical clinical assistants, nursing assistants, patient observers, and nursing unit secretaries, clerical positions, and more. Please bring a mask, a positive attitude, and your resume. Also, going down to the Raritan Bay YMCA is also hiring, and you can contact 732-442-3632 or go to www.rbaymca.org. They have all sorts of positions that they are hiring, from administrative to after-school program counselor, site coordinators, aquatics instructor, aquatic director, and after-school program counselor and after-school instructor. They're also looking for community health ambassadors, custodians, group exercise instructor, lifeguards, but all sorts of positions. So please, this is our neighboring Raritan YMCA in Perth Amboy, but they are hiring, and as our own YMCA's hiring as well. I do want to acknowledge that on September 26th, Sunday, the Island Volunteer Fire Company, number 1, District 9, as Councilman Viru Patel has asked me to read this. He's got a lot on his plate today, but the firehouse will be dedicating in honor of former Mayor Philip M. Syria, who was from Island, where I grew up, September 26th, Sunday at 2 p.m. All Menlo Park Terrace families and friends are welcome. The address is 100 West Kelly Street, Menlo Park Terrace. I'd also like to congratulate Woodbridge football team on going 3-0 and raising their ranking to 12th in the state. And Colonia High School had a very nice victory last week against Edison, who was ranked 4th in the county, and Colonia was ranked 9th in the county at that time. We're waiting on Kennedy, but I'm sure their first victory is right around the corner for them. And regarding the flood itself, I want to thank the Island Fire Department. I myself and my sons were caught up in the storm, and we had to bail out of our car in waist-high water. But I do want to acknowledge, as Councilwoman Meehan pointed out, the generosity of a very nice family, the Marquez family, on Sterling Avenue. They took us into their home, myself, my boys, and another family that were also stranded out of their car, had warm towels, coffee for us, and we stayed in their garage for over 3 hours until our family could come pick us up. So my heart goes out to all of the families that suffered devastation, and I drove by it every day when I would come home down Jordan Ave, or Jordan Street, and see all of the belongings of everyone's basement and first floor out on their front lawn waiting for our public works, and hats goes off to our public works for the job that they've done. And Mr. Brew is here. Mr. Brew, please thank them, your men, on behalf of me and the rest of the council and your women that worked there. They did a phenomenal job, and there was no job that was too large or too small for them. Thank you very much. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Vaccaro.
Thank you, Council President. I too, Mr. Brew, I know it was a rough night tonight because people were expressing some passion and a lot of sorrow, but the effort put forth by your team was monumental, and I know that you continue to fight that fight every day. So together, I think we'll be able to help the best that we can. On my agenda at this point after the meeting tonight, it seems so trivial because everything is happy stuff, but I'll go through it anyway. Over at the club at Woodbridge, they have that simulator golf den, and there's new prices for that as we go into the winter. Basketball and trauma classes are starting now, and also swim lessons and sports classes. They have full and half-day preschool, and they also have a beautiful indoor turf facility that can be rented for various engagements and events. The community center has a new membership event going on. You can tour the facility, receive a gift. For those of you that are looking, they have ice hockey leagues. The evaluation period is September 19th. There's adult leagues, and there's a Learn the Hockey program that's in partnership with the New Jersey Devils. There's also roller and ice skating lessons and swim lessons. The community center is njwcc.com. That's New Jersey Woodbridge Community Center.com, and the club is theclub.org. We successfully ran the 14th annual Senior Olympics, the New Jersey Senior Olympics, for 14 straight years. I'm going to name a couple of the big hitters there. Of course, Pat Trambetta and Frank St. Marie, Mike Garamella and Kelly Irizarry, Megan Kushpa helping out with the volunteers, organizing the volunteers, Brian Molnar, his department, our CERT team, our PD, and all the volunteers made that happen, and it was a pleasant event for all the seniors that participated. An announcement coming up, the Woodbridge Tour. The Woodbridge is on September 26th, which is always the last Sunday in September. The start is at Woodbridge Community Center at 8 a.m. and you can go to Race Roster. If you Google Race Roster and put in Tour to Woodbridge, you can register for that. It's a 30-mile and a 15-mile bike tour, not a race, and it is escorted by the police, but you have to follow the rules of the road. Just a quick look at some upcoming clinics for the COVID vaccines at our health center. This coming Thursday, 3 to 6, walk-ins are accepted. Next Thursday, the 23rd, also 3 to 6, walk-in accepted. And they are starting this weekend on Saturday, the 18th, and also Sunday, the 26th. 9 to 12. They're giving out the vaccine, and walk-ins are accepted at all clinics. The vaccination clinic will offer the Pfizer vaccine, which is available to children now 12 to 17, as well as the Moderna and J&J for adults. We also offer the third dose, which is now available to anyone that has immune deficiencies. Thank you, Council President. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Patel?
Yeah, thank you, Council President. My agenda is also in order, but I have a few announcements. I would like to thank Kyle for doing that announcement for me. First, Hurricane Ida struck Woodbridge Township on September 1st. In addition to the physical damage the storm caused, lives have also been tragically lost. On that night, 56-year-old Islin resident, Ms. Sunanda Upadhyay, passed on from drowning in the floods of the lake. We pray for her and express our heartfelt condolences to the family. Her husband, Mr. Sudhir Upadhyay, expresses sincere gratitude to the Woodbridge Community Charity Fund, Inc., and especially our Mayor McCormick for their donations and support. Our mayor personally went to visit Mr. Upadhyay to bestow financial and emotional support. His actions express Mayor McCormick's deep care and kindness for our residents. Mayor, we thank you again. We also thank all of the township's heads and departments that were involved in the rescue efforts and who further cleared the wreckages and damages. Our town is in the process of healing from this devastation because of you. I have received a big-time thank you for our State Speaker, Craig Caffrey, from Mr. Mahendra Patel, the Regional Director of AHOA Mid-Atlantic Regions. For those of you who may not know, the AHOA stands for Asian American Hotel Owners Association and comprises of about 20,000 members nationwide who own about half of the motels in America. The organization held their conference and trade show at the Crown Plaza of Cherry Hill on Tuesday, September 7th. Speaker Coughlin attended the conference and trade show and addressed the attendees. Last Friday was the Indian celebration of Lord Ganesha, who is the god of good luck. Normally, the Woodbridge Indian community has celebrated this festival by posting a large idol of Lord Ganesh in the parking lot of Woodbridge Mall, which attracts thousands of worshippers. Due to the current health crisis, this year's festival was cancelled. Nevertheless, we wish everyone a happy Ganesh Chaturthi and a lot of good fortune. Lastly, Woodbridge Township's opening an additional senior center in Islin at the Knights of Columbus Hall at 571 Route 27, named Oak Tree Senior Center. Registration has begun and response has been great. If you are a resident of Woodbridge Township and 60 years or older, or a member of any senior center, you may join Oak Tree Senior Center. The facility is open from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. You may contact Ms. Bhumika Patel at 732-726-2394 for further information. The mayor and I also invite you all to attend the center's grand opening and ribbon cutting ceremonies, which is going to be held on next Monday, September 28th, 2021, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's all for tonight, and thank you all for your time. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Director Hubner?
Address handicap parking. That's it, thank you.
Thank you. Director Hubner, on behalf of the council, please pass on our gratitude to the men and women of the department that worked at Storm Ida. We both know what it is to work them storms, and it takes a toll on you. But thank you. Director Darden?
Thank you, Council President. Nothing this evening.
Director Breaux?
Thank you, Council President. We have one order for resolution. It's out of our recycling enhancement grant, and it's for the purchase of a foam recycling machine.
Thank you, Director Breaux. And also our gratitude to you and your leadership and the men and women of Public Works that still to this day are cleaning up from the storm. We appreciate everything. Great job.
Thank you.
Business Administrator Samaluka.
I have two resolutions tonight. I have a proposal for an energy consultant, and I have a change order for the firearms training facility. Thank you, Council President.
Nothing to see, Council President.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Motion. Second.